Ho ho ho! Welcome to the movies, pal. Your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos back with you once again. Come on in, baby. It's cold outside, and I want you to stay warm. I've got a seat for you. I've got some nice hot cocoa for you, and I've got a movie where Bigfoot rips off a dick, just for you and for me. Night of the Demon from 1983, directed by James Wasson, but really directed by producer Jim Ball, who sort of reshot and inserted all the gore scenes that made this an infamous video nasty, is presented here on Blu-ray from SEVERIN Films in a specials packed edition, and I'm going to cover the entire disc. I'm not just reviewing the film, I'm going to be reviewing the special features, because the special features, mwah! Chef's kiss. They are amazing and probably my favorite specials packed edition boutique Blu-ray label wise. First, let's admire this beautiful, beautiful slip. It is sort of minimalist, but I love it. I don't think you need much more than this. The back continues that tradition of just the credit block with just a little bit of artwork on the back. I love that. And I'm 100% sure that these are Vinegar Syndrome style slips. Night of the Demon is a very strange movie. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a giant Bigfoot fan. I'm a big Bigfoot fan. Not the kind of Bigfoot fan that just like, oh, I like Harry and the Hendersons. I honestly, genuinely, 100% believe Bigfoot is a real animal. A cryptid animal that is out there. 100% do believe that. Conversation for another time. But I want that stated right at the top so you know where I'm coming at this from. I'm a big fan of Bigfoot and Bigfoot cinema. So having something like this lovingly restored. And I'll tell you right now, it looks amazing. Amazing! So beautiful, it'll blow your eyes out. It's never looked this good, obviously. But it is, I mean, they did an amazing job restoring this movie, and I'm very thankful to SEVERIN for doing that. Because this is one of those rare movies that if you haven't seen it, you've probably heard of it, especially the most infamous scene where Bigfoot rips off a dick. A dick! A man goes for a piss in the woods. Bigfoot, who's a fucking maniac in this movie, reaches out, grabs the dude's cock, and yanks it out, and then the dude, bleeds dick blood all over his motorcycle and dies. That's nuts. And literally and figuratively. That is insane. Bigfoot ripping off a dick, and the guy dying from the blood pouring out of his ruined junk is honestly the craziest thing ever to happen in a video nasty, in my opinion. Bigfoot does not fuck around, and this movie proves it in spades. But what is Night of the Demon about? On the surface, you have a group of college students who are being led into the woods by their college professor as they go in search of Bigfoot. And that's essentially all there is to it. They're anthropology students or anatomy students or something students, and the teacher said, hey, there's been reports of Bigfoot, let's go see if we can, find him. So they go in the woods to find him, track down reports of the creature, and they come across I think probably the biggest recent case history, and that has to do with somebody named Crazy Wanda. Crazy Wanda lives deep in the woods, and everybody's like, whoa, Crazy Wanda knows all about Bigfoot. She knows all about Bigfoot. So they go looking for Crazy Wanda, and it turns out, Crazy Wanda, are you ready for this? Are you sitting on the edge of your seat? Because this is going to blow your mind. Okay, and I mentioned the Bigfoot ripping the dick off. That's one thing. But this movie tops itself. Why? Well, because Bigfoot is a horny motherfucker, and he fucked Wanda. Yes, that's right. He rapes a human woman. And we see it. I mean, we don't see it, but we see it. It's there. It's not fun. It's there. It's happening. Wanda was raped by Bigfoot, impregnated by Bigfoot, gives birth to a Bigfoot baby, which you see, and it looks about as stupid as the one in Secta Sinistra from Vinegar Syndrome. If you've seen that movie, the baby at the end of that looks ridiculous. Obviously a doll. It looks, I think, even worse in Night of the Demon, but that's part of the fun. Of course, it's a part Bigfoot, part human baby. Enjoy it as much as you can. But anyway, that's the plot. Wanda's been raped by Bigfoot. She's had Bigfoot's baby. Wanda's dad kills the baby, and Bigfoot is on a rampage. Now, it's not explicitly explained because Bigfoot doesn't talk, but that might explain why Bigfoot is so fucking pissed off at everybody. He just goes around killing people for absolutely no reason except that he's like the Jason. He's the Jason of the movie. I mean, he's essentially a Jason. The guy sleeping in a body bag grabs him, spins him around, throws him into some branches, and kills his ass. A dude splitting, firewood. Bigfoot grabs the axe and cuts the guy to fucking pieces. So Bigfoot's pissed off, and maybe, just maybe, it has to do with the fact that his baby, his offspring was murdered, and he's angry. I mean, that's what I took from it. But anyway, so this movie has a lot happening, you know, deep into its marrow. It's not just kids in the woods getting killed by Bigfoot. This is essentially unpacking the Bigfoot lore, and honestly, in a very smart way. I mean, they talk about, you know, Bigfoot's stride patterns. They talk about the footprints themselves in a very smart, intelligent way, like scientists would talk about it in terms of the tendons stretching, the weight on the heels. I was impressed. There's always something going on. There's always something new to discover. And I'm honestly shocked how competently made, how well executed the whole damn movie is. And of course, the fact that it looks so good here really adds to the fact that you're getting a hell of a package and you're getting a hell of a movie. And this is how a movie is rediscovered, because it's worthy of that rediscovery. My friends, Night of the Demon is a 5-star movie. That is correct. Night of the Demon's 5 stars. I loved it. And maybe that has to do because I love Bigfoot. I love the subject matter of cryptozoology in general. But I think taking those, not nostalgia glasses, but that interest glasses off, I'll say, the film is really good. It plays very well, and I think it's very, very rewatchable. Definitely something that belongs in a video library. If you want to access, you know, certain types of cinema, you should have this. This is, I think, a keystone right up there with Legend of Boggy Creek when it comes to Bigfoot cinema. This is a fucking great movie. You're gonna love it. But what adds to the value of this release are the special features, because holy shit, Severin outdid themselves.
You're goddamn right.
How's that cocoa? Good, right? Nice and warm? Hey, do me a favor, leave me a thumbs up before we continue with this video, just so, you know, YouTube knows that you're having a good time, and I know you're having a good time. It helps out the video, helps out the algorithm, all that good stuff. I hate to mention it, but you gotta mention it because, well, that's the mechanics of YouTube. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. I would be ever so honored and pleased to hang out with you again, and I hope we do it again real soon. Drink of your cocoa. We're about to talk about video nasties and Bigfoot. Well, I guess we have been talking about that. Just drink your cocoa. This release comes with 2 Blu-rays. Of course, disc number 1 includes Night of the Demon, as well as a bonus feature, the previously unreleased Fraternity of Horror from producer Jim Ball. This is a black and white movie about a group of college students who are going on sort of a Hell Week dare into this abandoned haunted house. You've seen this story, you know, tons of times before. This one runs about 67 minutes. It's a little slow, but it's got a really surprising finale, which I'm not going to spoil here, and it kind of goes in a weird direction. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'll ever be rewatching it. But it's nice that it's included here. It's not always the case when you get to find a hidden movie that was unreleased from that era. So it's a lot of fun, but you have to sort of go in expecting a sort of 50s, 60s black and white type movie, and I think you're going to have a good time with that one. The rest of the special features on disc 1 include an interview with Jim Ball and James Wasson, speaking specifically about the making of the film. So all the features on that first disc are about Night of the Demon itself and its production. But what I really want to talk about is disc 2. Disc 2 makes this a must-buy release because it includes supplemental materials for not only video nasties, but Bigfoot and Bigfoot cinema. I love it. There's 4 featurettes running over 20 minutes apiece. Speaking about Bigfoot cinema, cryptid cinema, as well as William Munns, who deconstructs the famous Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot footage in a way, real quick, in about 20 minutes, he proves that shit is authentic footage, and it's great. Honestly, the word breast jiggle will have new meaning for you, because it's fantastic. In 20 minutes, he's 100%, in my opinion, unequivocally proven that is 100% Bigfoot footage. Amazing, amazing stuff. And it's all here. 4 featurettes, all about Bigfoot cinema. I will say there's only so much to talk about, so a lot of them sort of retread the same stuff. But it's nice that it's there, and it's nice that information is sort of kept for posterity. So it's worth a watch, especially if you're into cryptids and Bigfoot and all that good stuff. On top of that, included here is Ban the Sadist Videos Part 1 and Part 2, directed by, of course, David Gregory, the head of SEVERIN Films. Great documentaries. The first one's about 53 minutes. Second one, I believe, is about 44 minutes, 45 minutes. And they are sort of charting the course, the beginning of the Video Nasties era, all the fervor. It has a lot of great news footage from back in the day, interviews from people, you know, of the time of the making of that documentary, speaking about the events of the time, and sort of the hoopla that was brought up by all these people who thought that bloody, violent movies were going to pervert the impressionable minds of the audiences in the UK. Really interesting and frightening times when you talk about censorship. But I was, of course, familiar with Video Nasties tangentially, surface-wise, so it was very interesting to watch these documentaries. I mean, I guess it is, which is one big documentary split up, but watch this and get a God's eye view of the entire experience. Crazy time. It was a crazy time to be a horror fan back in the day, where you could end up in jail for having a VHS in your house. Pretty insane stuff. And Night of the Demon, of course, falls into that because that was a Video Nasty. Of course, you know, the British censors did not want you to see Bigfoot rip a dick off because you might want to go rip dicks. You know, you might want to walk around the neighborhood and go, hey, Bigfoot did it, let me go rip off some dicks. Now, the last featurette on here is an interview with David Gregory, of course, the director of Band the Status Videos and the head of SEVERIN Films, and he speaks about the Video Nasties era, which is when he was in his burgeoning cinema fandom. This is when he grew up. He was a teenager at the time. I believe he says he was 14 or 15 at the time when this all started, and he speaks about how hard it was for him and his partner Carl, who also runs SEVERIN Films, how they would go to video stores and talk to the owners and say, hey, what do you have in the back room that you can sell to us? Because it was so hard you couldn't rent them. But a lot of these owners did not want to just throw the movies away. So if they could find somebody to just sell them to, get them out of their shop, they would do that. So that's how he started his Video Nasties VHS collection, which he says is complete, which is amazing. He talks about how, I believe, the Beast and Heat VHS cost more to buy than the rights to release the movie. What? Anyway, it's here, and it adds so much to Night of the Demon, and this makes it a must. Look, number one thing you should buy, come halfway to Black Friday from SEVERIN, Night of the Demon, 100%. And that'll do, Bugaboo. That's my review of Night of the Demon. Thank you for joining me in the theater. I love this movie so much. I'm so honored to have this in my collection. I can't wait to put a little plastic protector over this one and look at it like a fetish item, because it's going to be. Speaking of fetish items, I should, of course, point out my friend in the background here. This is the Dick Demon. He's going to be keeping me company, and you'll see him in the background popping up here and there. He's going to be a big part of my life now because, well, I spent 45 bucks on it, and I'm not going to just ignore him, because now he's family just like you. But I'm going to send you on your way now because the theater is closing. My friend, I hope this video has found you well. Like I said, drop me a thumbs up. If you're new here, do subscribe, and I hope to see you again. I'm going to grab this curtain, pull it across the silver screen. I'm going to bid you adieu. I love you very, very much. Take care of yourselves, but the theater is closed for now.